So today we're looking at our first of our mark making techniques. When you're drawing, it's about making marks, putting them down in front of you and creating some sort of form or some sort of idea. And we can do that in many different ways. So we're going to start off with 4 different techniques today and go from there. So on our first video we talked about creating forms and using pencils to sketch, and the difference between an edge is created when there's a difference between one side of the picture and the other. So in order to create edges you have to create marks. With a pencil you're not got colour, you are creating marks that will make your picture stand out one side different to the other, therefore you're creating an edge. And that's on the previous video if you haven't already seen it. So the first mark I'm going to do is stippling, and this is a 3B pencil. Use whatever you have, and I'm just going to put lots and lots of dots in. Now you might not be able to see this very well, so I'm going to cheat and use a Derwent line maker, just purely because you can see the dots a little bit better because they're very black. But use your pencils, it won't make any difference. The only thing that I cannot do with this sort of pen is I can't blend. So let's go back to the orange idea that I did at the beginning. So I'm stippling, and I want the bottom of the orange, if this was an orange, to be a little bit darker. So I just stipple the marks closer and closer together. It's quite therapeutic. You might find yourself drifting off and your brain will go somewhere else, and that's great if that happens. You notice I haven't drawn an outline, I'm just stippling. So I've created a form that sort of stands out because it's slightly different. That's more dots than that area. Then if I create a background using a different line, this is hatching, just going up to those stipples, come out the other side. I've created another difference. Because I've created a difference, there is an edge, and yet I have not drawn any line around that area there at all. So I could then use a simple line to suggest 2 leaves, something like that. No, it doesn't look particularly like an orange, but how long did that take? What, a minute? So I've just done some doodling and sketching. Love it. Mark making, whatever name you want to give it. So stippling is lots and lots of dots. And some people do complete pictures like that, which is amazing. Then we have hatching. Hatching I can probably show you with a pencil. So hatching is like I did here. You're just using the pencil, making marks across. It's nice. This is an easy one. Let your wrist get free, so you move your whole hand. Try not to do this really tiny little movements, although they're useful when you're learning the marks. Just be nice and free. Move your whole arm if you can from the elbow. Get a bigger piece of paper. There we go. That is hatching. Now the more you go over one area, even if you just use the same pencil, like this is a 3B, but I'm going over and over and over, it's getting darker and darker at this end compared with that end. So if I then go even more strokes closer and closer together and a little bit more pressure on my pencil, started to create the darkest mark I can make with a 3B pencil. So if you've got 6B, you will make a darker mark than I'm making. Just use what you have, and then go pale again. You start to take the pressure off, let the gaps start to appear back in the hatching. You get the idea. So we're given the impression of like this depth to it, and drawing and painting is all about the illusion of depth sometimes, so it's always worth trying. So that's hatching. Moving on from hatching, see, easy one, this one is cross hatching. Cross hatching, so what does that mean? Well, keep it really simple. We're going to go one way, nice big marks, and then come back. Now if you find this hard, don't forget you can move your tools to suit you. Go back the other way, cross hatching. So you've now got double the amount of lines in the same area, which means you've made it tonally slightly darker. Of course you can keep doing that. So if I go back over that side again, nice and free, not trying to match these lines up to each other. And then I turn and go up the top here. So where the corner is here, they're overlapping. So that's one set, that's like 1 and plus 1, and that's 1 plus 1 plus 1. So you start seeing differences in tone. Can you see how this corner is a bit darker than that, and that? And yet I haven't drawn an outline around this, but if I kept going like this and kept layering up, this particular area here could start to either pop out or disappear. So now I've done that, let's do this one again, but only in this area. So one way, there you go, get the idea. So that's darker than that, that's darker than that. And if you want really pale cross hatch, you just press very lightly, keep the lines far apart. That's cross hatching. Going back to the orange that I did previously, let's just show you that again for those of you who missed it last time. This is done in pen. You can see the little circles there, little shapes, circulism, all sorts of words you can use for all these techniques. It's also known as like just random shapes is scumbling. Because I'm a painter, I feel scumbling is more sort of catching the surface of something. So my favourite word for this is doodles, because you're basically doodling all over it. You're not dots, you're just making little wiggly shapes. Now circulism is obviously more of the little circles, but when you start going a bit faster, you realise your circles turn into wobbly wibbly things. And then it's your circles, your style, however you want them to be. So let's see what's this going to turn into, if anything. So the idea is I'm covering the area with circular shapes, basically just doodling. And again, there's no hard outline here. And you might use this if you were doing an orange or something with a similar surface. You're trying to sort of suggest the surface of something, or you can use this for something that's completely not like the subject surface. So I'm going off on a tangent now because I could see a little thing going on there. So I could come around here with my circles. I've created a little teacup there, or I could now do some cross hatching, but using a curved shape to suggest there's a saucer there. How many guys use a cup and saucer now? I do very rarely, but they've sort of gone out of fashion, haven't they? So I'm hatching here at the moment because I'm only going in one direction, but I could cross hatch now, coming at it to try and follow the way that the saucer might look. So then we've got a crossover here. It's not quite right, is it? Because I haven't got anything going around the other side. So let's just do some coming in like that and like that. Of course, there are some circles I started there. So again, we haven't got any outlines, but we've suggested some random cup and saucer there, which isn't quite right at all. If I was to draw it the traditional way, yeah, you draw that, just make up a little handle. If you're a potter, you'll find that easier. And then you might draw ellipse like that, and then bring the base of the cup down. Heavier line on the base to suggest that's where it's sitting. So that's not correct at all, but you get the idea. That's an outline, that isn't, but they both suggest the same thing. If you want to learn any mark making in particular, or you're confused about something, please pop a comment below and we'll have a look at that and try and put it in the next video. I hope that helped. So how did you find that? Nice and busy, hopefully, and you would have got into the zone with your pencils, maybe decided you need a softer pencil, or maybe you've got the perfect set, in which case try the different ones out. Hope you had fun, happy drawing, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.